Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Cowboy Shot. My name is Dario. Sally's behind the camera, and today's guest is Anne Peyton Brothers. She's a great friend of ours, and the movie we're watching today is Risk Spectre. Enjoy. Me and Sally saw it yesterday. We loved it.
We loved it.
We loved it.
And we were like, I think I know that place.
To say that.
No, seriously, no, we really liked it.
And we were talking about this yesterday because we watched Long Legs, and we were saying that the problem with our generation filmmakers is that we care a little too much about the visuals and not so much about the story. And I think because you are a writer, of course the story comes first.
Yes.
And we can see that in your short.
Yeah, the writing's great.
Yeah. It's actually interesting. I haven't seen Long Legs yet, but I've been seeing like a lot of like negative reviews.
Yes,
which
I've
is
seen
crazy
that too.
because like everything that we've seen online, like all the marketing, it just looks so pretty.
Yeah.
Looks amazing. It's a beautiful film, but I think it just falls short on the story. And I think I don't want to give anything away. Just a lot of piling on.
I feel like that's like there's like two camps. Like I feel like there are a lot of filmmakers who are very like the visuals are like the most important part, and like I feel like there's merit to those in their own right, like as an art form.
Absolutely.
But that's not my jam. I'm like, it's got to be a story.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like I could go to. I don't want to go. Like you can go to the road and like
just look at
like
art.
video art.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? Like I don't. That's not what I'm going to the movies for.
So then how did you get started in writing?
In my life.
In your
Or,
life,
like,
or like
out here?
maybe learning about like script writing and things like that.
So I was very interested in writing when I was like a kid. Mostly because when I would get bored, my mom would be like, I'd be like, oh, there's nothing I want to read or there's nothing I want to watch or anything. And my mom would be like, well, then make that thing.
Okay,
And I was very lucky to have two sisters who I could just like corral into like my little productions.
Wait,
and
this
like,
sounds like Little Women.
honestly, yeah. You know what? We're like Little Women haters in our house. We don't like that book, but it was really fun. Yeah, so that kind of is how I got started with that, and then I was an actor first. Like I did theater in Virginia when I was a kid. In the local regional equity house theater there. I was really lucky to be able to get involved with that. And then I went to school for theater, and that was when I started to like get really serious about writing. I always knew I wanted to make my own things, just because I was bored with everything else.
So that was going to be my other question. Like, did you study acting?
Yes.
So then for making this short, was it like, oh, I'm going to start writing this myself, or did somebody come to you and say, oh, I want to make a short. Can you write me something?
I started writing this. Yeah. The inspiration for this short in particular was actually the house where we shot it.
Does have a haunted vibe to it.
It's so Josh lived in this. My boyfriend lived in this house, and when they moved in, I was like, 1, this place is haunted, and 2, we should like totally shoot something here.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful house.
It's a beautiful house,
yeah.
and it's huge, and you know, it's when you have this base or like the location,
Exactly.
it's like for filmmakers with no money, it's like you gotta jump on
it's the gold
that.
mine.
We did the same thing for this.
Yeah,
little
in our
patio
backyard.
Yeah,
area.
this is a great spot too.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was like 8 people in that house. So you know, when you're watching it and you're like, how do these 2 people afford? These 2 young people afford this like gorgeous house? Because
There's like
it's
7
because
others.
usually there's like 8 people living in there, but we tried to make it look smaller and more
It did
contained
look smaller,
than it
yeah,
actually
like the way
was.
you guys shot it.
Yeah.
Also, it didn't look like 8 people lived there.
No, yeah.
Did you have to like clean up a
It
lot
was
of...
flipped.
Yeah.
It was definitely flipped. A lot of boys lived there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Uh,
My other question was, oh no, I lost it. Oh, there it is. It's gone.
No worries. Let's get to the movie though,
Okay.
and we can do some commentary.
No,
on
I had-
it.
oh,
And I
that was
think
a
the
good
question will probably pop up again. So we're gonna watch
that
Low
was
Risk
it.
Spectrum or
Low Risk Spectre.
Spectre. Okay, why am I
Spectre.
thinking Spectrum?
And where did you come up with the title?
From the script, when he says
The line, yeah, with
Yeah.
the guy, the Kia
Is that
Soul. That was
spoilers?
hilarious. Yeah, we can hear it. Cool.
I know. As soon as I saw the house, I was like, oh, I think I've seen it before. Because I was going to ask, like, how did you find the location? But it's so perfect that you guys already had it. Yeah. That's usually the biggest cost, too.
Yeah.
So how much did it cost to produce this?
How much did it really cost, or how much?
How much did it really cost?
Like, how much did it really cost, or how much should it have cost?
Ooh, both.
Because it really cost, I want to say, the production weekend was like 7,000 to 8,000. And then like a couple in the post, maybe a little bit extra, but not more than $10,000. But we got a lot of freebies.
Like, what was some freebies?
Our biggest money saver was our DP Nate. Didn't take any money, and he brought his own camera.
Oh wow, that's so yeah. Your cost was low.
Yeah, we love you, Nate.
Yeah, shout out to Nate.
And he has an Alexa.
Okay, yeah, okay. So the nice, yeah, because it looks beautifully shot and everything.
Oh, it's gorgeous. He is literally literally the most talented and generous person.
I might
That's awesome.
ask for his contact later.
He's the best. Everybody hire Nate.
Yeah.
Nate Krause.
So you wrote the script. Did you have any intention of directing it?
Not necessarily. I knew I wanted to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted the process to be really collaborative and just being able to like bring a lot of people together.
Yeah.
And so our friend Amelia Marino, who also lived in the house, she directed it.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So was everybody in the house involved?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Is that your sister?
That is my little sister. So back to the Little Women thing. Like,
Yeah.
I just like, I've cast my little sister in literally everything I've ever made.
Oh, that's so sweet. I was going to say, you guys look good on camera together.
Can I have some coffee?
You and your sister.
May I?
How did you do the SFX stuff?
A lot of it's practical. That's practical with the mug.
Did you like tie
like
a
on a
string
It's
on
a
it?
string.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
fishing wire.
And somebody's behind you guys? Kind
Someone's
of
on the
pulling?
floor. It's the same with other effects later on. But these were all, the ghost is all, we did that with slates.
Okay.
And then we had a VFX artist also who cleaned it up and made it look really nice. Tom
I
Goulet.
shouldn't have caffeine anyway. It'll stunt my growth.
Was there a lot of prep work for that? Like knowing that she has to be invisible?
We had a lot of talking. We talked a lot about like how invisible she should be, like when she touches things, like how is she able to touch them but also not touch them.
Yeah.
It was a lot of talking
I guess it's better.
pre-production about that. And we had to like really like figure out the plan, but then we settled on the way we shot it.
Down there.
I love this line.
What do they say? It's not the heat that gets you. It's the humidity.
Where'd you get him?
She's talking about how
We lucked out with Tatu. We cast Tatu through backstage. He was like one
Okay.
of the only people
Normal one?
we didn't know
Yeah.
that was involved in this.
normal one. What does that mean?
Come on. Let's be real. Backstage has some. Yeah.
Nobody told us about this. This seems
It
like
worked out
something
great.
someone
He's
should have told
a
us.
Finnish actor and was out here making connections in LA. And we were very lucky to have him. He is great and has like an actual repertoire in Finland.
So everyone else who was in this film you knew beforehand?
Everyone who was involved in this, we knew personally besides Tatu, our hair and makeup artist, and I feel like...
I do love that backsplash.
No, that's it, yeah.
So the question that I had before was, what was the inspiration for the story?
So...
Are you like highly intuitive? Do you have things like this happen to you?
So I grew up in a haunted house. I'm gonna throw that out
okay.
there.
so awesome.
I grew up in a very old haunted house in southwestern Virginia.
Wow.
That, the house was built in 1907.
Oh, wow.
And I had an experience with a ghost as a child that stuck with me.
A good ghost or a bad ghost?
A little girl.
Ooh.
I believe that there was a little girl ghost in our house. It's like a whole story, but
This is my house.
it was.
No.
Do you want the story?
Yeah, please.
It was like a dark and stormy night. I was really scared, so I ran into my parents' room to get in their bed.
Yeah.
And my older sister was already in there, and I was like, scooch over, and she was like, oh, whatever. So she scooches over, and it's like all four of us in this bed together.
Yeah.
And in the morning, my mom sits me down, and I had a really bad habit of sleeping in my parents' bed when I got scared. This was when I was like 7 or 8, and it was hard for me to make it through the night. Haunted house, and she's asking me like, why were you in the bed with us last night? You know, like, let's talk about this. You know, let's work through these fears. And I was like, well, there was a thunderstorm. It was scary. And then I turned to my older sister and I was like, well, why were you in the bed last night? And she was like, I was not.
No.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
Because what do you
that's
mean?
no way.
And I've never forgotten that moment in my life. The most terrified I ever felt as a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
And so that was actually like a big inspiration
For that
and with the opening
scene, yeah.
shot,
Yeah,
like
can I be-
that is
yeah.
like just like 100% the. But she was a nice ghost. She was just a little kid.
So creepy.
There was like an evil ghost in like the attic, like 100%.
So 2 ghosts.
Oh yeah,
God,
I don't know
God.
how many ghosts. There could have been many. I think my cat is a ghost there now.
Oh, this shot. How did you do this?
This is fishing wire too.
Fishing
So
wire,
there's
yeah.
people like all
Just all
people
around.
on the
like
floor down
pulling.
there, people in the back.
Squatters.
And then what? And then the water's also a string.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, it was all like puppetry, basically.
I'm sorry about losing my temper.
I like practical effects more than.
It's just
Yeah,
that we
special.
gotta help
Yeah.
you move on.
Totally.
Don't you think it's about
How did
time you leave?
the person, the VFX person, make her invisible? Is it like you have to shoot her and then you shoot the scene again without her?
We shot. We fixed the camera in the same spot,
Right.
and then you take a shot of just the room, and then we did a shot. Don't move the camera. Take another
Right.
shot
And
with
just
her.
kind of fidget with the opacity.
And then, I don't know exactly. That's not my
Yeah.
expertise, but that's how we shot it.
I see.
There's probably more that goes into it.
Was there any problems that you faced during pre-production or production?
Oh yeah. We we went through a few people, just like in general, like people coming on and then like having conflicts or like not being the right fit or so, like with that it took us a really long time to land on an editor.
Okay.
We actually did go through we went through a few different VFX people.
I don't want to have this discussion anymore.
We had to wait for the colorist to be available. Like the timing got all thrown off. Like we were like, our composer ended up having a baby. We had to get a new composer.
Wow, okay.
So a lot of the problems came in like post.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, putting it together happened really fast and really quickly.
Right.
Do any of these people live in the house?
Oh,
the party?
I don't think anybody that we see right now, but Kevin was living in the house.
But when you say that you had problems in post, that makes me feel better because we're
We're having the same issue
with
with our film.
our like sound
We
designer.
found a sound designer, and then he like showed us the work, and we're like, "Ooh, this is."
How does
this
it
is not
work?
good."
Yeah, I think there's like a few different films that it goes through, and it's like the one you shoot, or the one you write, the one you shoot, and the
Yes.
one in post. Like,
Yeah.
so I 100% feel that.
Right.
But I think that's just like you just plan for it to take way longer than you expect. Like it took us like a year to like really finish this.
Really?
A year?
Wow.
Like, we shot this in March 2022. and
Sometimes.
it wasn't done until April 2023.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Did you
Did you?
feel discouraged during
Yeah.
that time?
That was going to be my next question. Like, did any of those problems that you faced, you almost felt like,
Like,
Am
is
I
it
g-
even
is this ever
worth?
gonna come
Yeah,
out?
Yeah.
exactly.
yeah.
100%. I was
Yeah.
like, is this like what if like, you know, because it's also like
Was
it's a
one
huge
stretch
investment.
where I
So you're
Mhm.
like, you know,
wanted
and
to
you're not
die.
making, and you're never gonna make money off of it. It's just like you're
Really?
throwing money into the universe, and then to like not be seeing the
Mhm.
like reward for a
Exactly.
really long time is can be so depressing.
Mhm.
But I think it's just like all about.
Why didn't you?
I mean, it's easier for me to say now that it's done. I'm like, don't worry about it. Like,
You
mine
kids
was-
out there, don't
mine's
give
done.
up. Don't throw in the towel.
Was it worth it?
So when she glides through the room, is she on like a skateboard?
She was on a dolly.
Okay.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
And this speech, did it come from anywhere? From your
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It came from my head. It came from somewhere.
This was actually this was actually the first scene I wrote,
Okay, yeah.
and then kind of moved backwards from there. Just like imagining what a conversation between somebody who really wants to be alive and then somebody who had wanted to be dead but is alive,
Right.
and like kind of what that conversation would be.
Yeah.
And I like how she's like, oh,
so
I
how do you
wanted
play?
to go to a concert. Sometimes it is like
It's-
just the
it's-
small
yeah.
things that like, yeah, keep you going. It's such a beautiful shot.
This was also like on a dolly going around. And I love the music that we
Music,
ended up having.
yes.
I'm obsessed with.
Yeah.
This is my close friend Sasha Landon. Their band is called Palmyra.
Palmyra. Shout out to Palmyra.
Palmyra, follow them.
Do they do a lot of movies?
This was the first one that Sasha had done, as far as I'm aware. I hope I'm not wrong about that. But they do kind of folksy. They have their own project which is also sort of jazzy rap. So it's like Palmyra is like an Appalachian trio band.
Oh, love.
Nice.
Wait, I think Josh told me about them, that you guys had gone to a concert not too long ago, was it?
Misheard that. You're totally wrong.
I don't know where
You have no idea what you're talking
I have no idea.
I do love
because
folk music.
Appalachian
I am,
and
like-
then like folk song. it's
I'm
just
from there.
Yeah. Summer of Folk.
Summer of Folk. That's what I've been saying. So there's two main songs. This one and then there's one at the beginning and which is the same as at the end, I think.
There's the opening song. There's this song. There's like a little interlude in that overhead sleeping shot, and then the best song that they wrote was for the kitchen scene, which unfortunately we just ended up having to take the lyrics out of. But the lyrics to that one were beautiful. So,
Is it on Spotify?
no,
for
I don't
humoring
think
me.
so. But maybe one day. Maybe we'll do a
Yeah.
SoundCloud release of the OST.
The whole soundtrack. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Have a nice life, you two.
That's a dolly out too.
Yeah. Someone's pushing her on that one though. That one wasn't fixed. It was like she was standing on it and someone was like
Crawling. That was so smooth.
and then somebody else had to close the door because those doors were really heavy and they would slam and the glass would shake.
It is such a nice house. The details on that
I
door.
know they gutted it too.
No.
Yeah, it got sold and
And they made a
if
McMansion.
you've I don't know what they're doing in there, but I'm worried.
Yay.
Yay! Written and produced. And Josh is also up there as a producer.
Yes, Josh was key. Josh did a lot of work.
Oh.
So how long was pre-production? I don't know if we asked that.
You know, I think it was only a couple of months.
Couple months.
I want to say I wrote it in November of 2021.
Okay.
And then we shot it in March 2022.
Okay. Nice.
And how many days of shoot?
2.5.
2.5.
2.5? That's not bad.
Pretty in and out.
Yeah, that's pretty
Very
good.
easy breezy.
And then the post was what took forever.
Post is what took forever.
More like a year and a month.
Yeah.
That gives me hope though.
Yeah.
It's like, story
There's
of
just so many
persevering.
moving factors that
There's a
once
lot.
it's in post, I feel like there's so many, like when it's in production, like there's so many things that you control yourself. And once it's in post, it's like, unless you are like an editor or a colorist or a sound designer or like, it's like you have to just like let go and
Yeah.
Yeah, you give it to someone, you hope
Yeah.
That they
return it in 2
understand the
weeks, and it's
vision.
like, oh, you did what I wanted. And
Yeah.
it's like not, then you're like, oh,
And I might
shit.
have to get someone
Do I have
else.
to find someone else? Do I have to give them notes? Do I have to repaint? All these sort of questions arise. I hate post. I don't like it. But I like to ask this question. What'd you have for Crafty?
Oh, yeah.
oh, we had the best crafty.
Yeah, that's what I like to
I'm not even kidding. I mean, we had bagels and stuff for breakfast, but we had catering by Behu
Behu?
in
Boo.
Silver Lake. Behu,
Okay.
BE space U, but I believe it's pronounced Behu.
Behu?
Vietnamese,
Okay, nice.
and they are on Hoover in Silver Lake, and they are thebomb.com, and they cut us a really good deal.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we had banh mi, and we had noodle bowls, and we had popcorn chicken, and we had street corn. Yeah, they cut us a huge deal. This was in 2022.
Right.
Pandemic, still feeling it. And I lived over there, and they were like, we want to help out a local
Oh, that's nice.
production.
Yeah.
And it was so good. And they actually catered for a day of the short we just made with Jot, like Josh's new short that we just made.
So you went back to them.
They're great.
Sick.
Everybody go
That's-
back. It's great, and
Yeah.
they're
Are
good
they a
prices.
restaurant too?
They're a restaurant. Yeah,
Okay.
you can just like go there and
Go there right after.
No.
I believe-
Shout out. Shout out.
I know their prices have changed a little bit, like just
That
because
makes
the prices of everything have
Yeah.
changed. But you can get a tofu banh mi as of today for like $8.50
Wow.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Wow.
That's
In
not bad.
Silver Lake?
in Silver Lake.
Damn.
Those are
That's a
Virginia
steal.
prices.
That's
Yeah.
a steal.
Like
crazy,
it's
yeah.
really good.
And that was
feel-
for the 2.5 days? That's them, or?
I think we just had pizza on the first day, on the
You
half
don't-
on the half day. I can't remember
He's gonna
exactly
give
what
you
it was,
shit.
but it was at least 2. It was at least 2 days. I think we might have done pizza like triple beam, like for that half day,
Okay, yeah.
because it was a smaller. The half day was what did we shoot?
Yeah, what was that half-day shoot?
I think the half day might have just been the outside.
The exterior shots,
stuff?
the porch.
Yeah.
And the,
I feel like that's what that was.
that's good. Yeah.
Did you have budget in mind while you were writing it?
No.
I mean, it was good. It was just one location, mostly
Yeah.
interior.
I had location in mind when I was writing it. So
Okay.
that's like obviously like a big factor of the budget.
Right.
And then I just like tend to write things that I like while I'm writing it, I'm thinking about how this could get made, like who could do this, like who would do that.
right.
So like that's a factor, but I'm not like money minded in that way. I think I'm more of a and I think this is something a trait of mine that has stuck with me from the theater is like you write the thing and then you say, okay, like you go to somebody else and you're like, how I want it, like let's do this.
Right.
How you do it? Like how do you do it?
You do it.
Like like you write like I was just like ghost, she flies, and then I was like that's somebody else's idea is
Yeah.
going to finish that one for me. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's what most writers think. It's like, I'm gonna write this and then hand it off to someone else, and they'll be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like it's the best way to like get something interesting because
Yeah.
I don't know how things work. And, you know, I think you just like say the impossible thing and then, you know, it's art's problem.
Yeah.
Like,
It always is.
but like I think that's why you like want to have like a good team
Yeah.
Definitely.
who can like really like, you know, we the way we did the flying with Mary was they built like this sort of rig and so we shot it with, and again like with plates, like we did one where it was like green screen and she's hanging by her armpits and it just like we're just like getting a shot like with her feet. And then we did another one where it was like she was hanging, like it was like she was hanging and then we moved the rig away and then we did a shot where she was standing on a box and the box and her socks were green screen, like they were green.
Okay, nice. That's very smart.
So then they just could take bits and pieces of it and
just like configure it
to like make it look, but like yeah, she was like hanging which is something like you can only do to your little sister.
Yeah.
She was safe. It was safe. It was safe. Everybody,
That's what you tell your parents.
everybody.
Yeah,
It was honestly. I felt our G&E team, like they were really looking out for her, which was really I felt very.
Right. You told him you could do whatever you want.
I was like, literally, I was like, toss around. No, I'm not even kidding. And she's tough. She broke her collarbone once on stage. Like,
Oh my
Wow.
god.
Jeez. That's awesome.
Did you
though.
have
That's a
to
good story.
get a permit to shoot here?
if we had to
Yeah.
get one, we did.
Yes.
We did too.
The answer is yes.
We did too when we shot
Right.
it.
We did too.
If we had to do it, we did, and we did talk to all of the people that we needed to talk to
Yeah.
All the
to
paperwork
get it
was
done.
right.
I've
Played it by the books.
Exactly.
it was all by the books. There was no cut, no
Yeah.
little sneaky.
No
sneaky.
shortcuts, nothing like that. No. We do it right.
Can I ask, how did you raise the money to fund it?
So there was no fundraising, unfortunately. I don't recommend this to anybody else, but Josh and I self-financed it, which I wouldn't do again. But at the time, it was like
It had to come out. It felt right.
it felt right. Had I known strikes were on the way,
Oh.
I probably would not have been like, let's just like go into the savings.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, whatever.
But it came out great. You were able to go to film festivals. It was a happy ending at the end.
It was a happy ending. Yeah. I'm never paying for, we had like a few small donations from like friends, for like, you know, like, oh, here's some money towards Crafty, or like, here's like a little bit for the, you know, for SFX, and but for the majority of the funding, it was just self-financed.
Was that the most expensive, the SFX stuff?
Our SFX were also free.
Oh my god.
Damn. She got the hookup.
I feel so grateful to everybody who lended their talents to this, because it was not possible to do otherwise.
Totally.
I feel like that, but I feel like that's also like short film.
Yeah.
Like unless you do raise the money, you know, like if you're doing like Seed and Spark or crowdfunding or stuff like that, I think that's like, yeah, like everybody should get, like, I would love to pay everybody. We didn't have money to pay anybody, and thankfully it was at a point in the pandemic where most people just like wanted to work on something. And I think that's also like, that's why everybody that worked on it was our friends.
Yeah.
I feel like you can get away with that, like only if you're just getting your friends to do it. Like I would never like, like go on backstage and be like, I need a crew and none of you are getting paid.
I've seen a lot
Which
of
you
those.
see them,
Yeah.
you see they are there, and I'm always like, that's
crazy.
that's crazy, but you know what? But at the same time, we're all just like trying to.
Yeah, trying to
get
do
just
our
stuff
trying to
on our
do something,
portfolio,
for
just
sure.
go out there, meet people, and
Yeah.
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 I mean,
But-
the most I think maybe the most expensive thing was the our editor, who still cut us a deal. But you know, because that was somebody that we had to go to,
Yeah.
and bring on.
Right.
Did you ever thought of you might edit it or no?
No.
Yeah, no.
I've only ever edited. I edited a short film that I made in high school, and I did it on iMovie.
Oh.
Same here. I did the same thing too with my friends. Yeah,
Yeah.
just did it in our apartment, and yeah, it didn't come out. We didn't release
I
it.
want to watch it. Do you still have it?
I still have it on my like drive or something like that.
We're gonna make you a guest and watch
Please
it.
Yeah,
don't
do a
watch that.
Criterion.
Yeah. No. It's so embarrassing. It's just like one guy doing coke in the bathroom, and then his twin brother like knocks on the bathroom
Is
door.
it real Coke?
No, it's like
Yeah, it was a
it was like
flower.
flour. Yeah. Yeah. It was so stupid.
So what are you working on now?
I have a few things I'm working on. We're gearing up to do another short.
Nice.
We're gonna shoot in August.
Okay. Yeah. Very close.
Another one with very little money, but it's not my own money this time because you do that once.
Yeah.
And then I have another short that I'm also trying. That's like that. So that's pre-production, I guess, because I just wrote it and I'm trying to suss out that one.
Yeah.
And get money to do that one.
Okay.
And then I have a feature script I'm working on.
Sick. Nice.
Have you ever written features?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Is the process like, do you ever work with Josh, or is it mainly just yourself?
As a writer, mostly I write by myself, but Josh is like the first reader. I think that's like great to have. Like everything he writes, I read. Everything I write, he reads, and then we give a lot of feedback on that. But we have very distinct voices, if you haven't been able to tell.
Yeah.
I know. I want to bring up even like what it is. I don't know if we have Josh's permission, but yeah, his recent short is like bonkers in like the best way.
Yes, yeah, I 100% agree. And I've seen the early cuts of that, and it's looking great. But it is insane. You know, it's not like a like
Do you
a
worry
little family
sometimes?
ghost drama, like a little family ghost story.
Little Women.
Little Women.
Would you ever want to write with him as a duo or anything like that?
I wouldn't rule it out, but again, I feel like we both. It's like I feel like writing. I feel like working with somebody that you love dearly. You have to like have those boundaries of like, because every now and then there'll be something where it's like, I think it should be this way, or I think it should be that way, and then you're just like, oh, and then it
Preaching
can
to
be
the choir right now.
Yeah.
We do that a lot. We'll work on a project together, and we want to like, share ideas, and then there's just one idea it's like we don't agree on, and then we're headbutting.
Yeah.
And stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then we kind of like push it to the side because we gotta resolve our
Exactly.
situation.
So I think your method actually might
I
be
think that's
better. Like
the-
write it
yeah.
and then ask for notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's the
think
best way.
we both like the feedback. I think having somebody that you trust for feedback is
Absolutely.
like really just like essential, like for just like writing in general. And like obviously, like if you live with somebody, the easiest thing in the world is to be like, well, you have to read this. Like like it's just like you live here, so
I know what you do 24/7.
but I think that like it's all about like knowing and respecting who each other, like who each person is as an artist, and knowing that like there's like not going to be like perfect overlap every time, but that you like ideally you value their opinions and like feedback
Right.
also.
What is the hardest part of screenwriting for you? Like for me, it's dialogue.
Mm.
Do you have anything like that?
I think the hardest part for me is like figuring out what's going on. I'm a writer. I don't do outlines. Even though I know a lot of people have told me that like I should.
Like the 70 note card outline thing.
Yeah, I do a lot of kind of vomit writing and then going back and like adjusting, or like to me, like when I'm writing something, like for if it's a feature, if it's short, like for this, like it felt very contained from the beginning, but I didn't know going into it, like, because I wrote the kitchen scene first and then kind of like pieced it together. Like I didn't know where it was going to go necessarily. I had like an idea of what I wanted to say with it, but like I don't like have like it starts here, it ends here, like it has this sort of beat. Like to me it's like a lot more like untangling like a knot of like, oh, and like when I'm writing I have a lot of realizations, like where I'm like, oh, so that's what this means, even though like I wrote it already, like, like so that's why she said that.
It's like slowly processing your own emotions too, and like your previous experiences. Oh, when I said this, it actually came back to me when I had that experience.
Yeah,
it's crazy how that happens. Like you're just like writing something, it's like, wow, this does connect to that.
Yeah,
I'm amazed that it does that.
I'm a
it
genius.
Well, I think that's also like what you have to kind of do as a writer too. You have to like step back and like not to get like Tolkien with it, but like
No, please do.
you have to think about like maybe it's like you are just kind of like putting words to like a story that's already out there, and like kind of just like pulling from like the universe, you know, like maybe I don't actually know and as a writer I feel like I don't actually know everything as a writer, even though I wrote it. Like maybe I'm not like maybe there's like more there.
There's
than just
more
like,
to it. That this is a story somewhere out in the universe, in a parallel universe, and you happen to be like the storyteller in this universe.
Or there's like a universal story, and like you pull those pieces from there. Or like, maybe I'm not like in charge, which is why I think like I don't usually like, though I'm not necessarily like a director all the time, because I'm like, I want to facilitate. I do want to direct. I think maybe the next, not the one that we're shooting in August, but the next one that I wrote, I'm thinking like maybe that will be my foray into that. But like, I don't always want to do that.
Do you read a lot of books, or did you read a lot of books growing up?
I am what I call a binge reader.
Okay.
I was a total bookie kid growing up. I feel like everything about me screams that. Like we were unsupervised readers in my house. Like my mom did not care what we were reading. There was like no attention being paid to like what we were reading. We were reading things that like we definitely like probably should not have been reading.
50 Shades of Grey, 6 years old.
like more like the movie, like more like the books about like you know, like people dying in like ancient
like
civilizations, or
Okay,
like Lolita. Like the ones that always come to my mind are like there was this one was a children's book. It was called The Egyptian Game, but it was like there was about like they would play like ancient Egyptian, and then my sisters and I all got in our head that like we could do like an Egyptian sacrifice, and my little sister and
So
like
cute.
did like a whole
She's
like
always the sacrifice.
did like literally, she's the little one, so she's gotta go. So like we did this whole elaborate like researched like sacrifice sort of thing in our living room when my mom wasn't home.
That's what brought the ghost.
That's probably honestly probably well, I think honestly maybe that like appeased them. They were like the sacrifice.
Yeah. You've done well.
But like we were always doing crazy stuff like that, and a lot of that was like things that I was reading, like being inspired by like the books that we were reading. And then when I was in college, what the binge reading aspect is like, I'll go through periods where I will like check out like 10 books at a time from the library, and then I will like read them all in a row, and then I might like not read for like a while, and then I'll go back to the library and I'll check out 10 books, and then I'll like read them all. It's like, I don't know, it's like addictive. It's like problem. But yeah, so I love reading, but I like as an adult, I go through like I literally binge read.
That's nice.
Favorite book?
Yes, my favorite book. And honestly, this could explain a lot. Even though I didn't read this book growing up, I read this when I was in college for the first time, but my favorite book is called Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, and it's by Susanna Clarke, and it is huge. It is a huge epic. It is like this big. And it is in the style of a Regency era, like sort of novel. Like it is written like almost like Jane Austen. But it is about wizards, magic in England, pre-Napoleonic. Like, it is great, and there's footnotes, and
like
it's
very
dense.
Howl's Moving Castle.
Yes, it's very like high. It's like high fantasy, but like in this very specific genre setting. It's awesome. I love that book.
I'm gonna look.
If you have time on your hands,
She has time. You checked off all the boxes of what she liked.
it's so good.
I know, right? Like
They do have a miniseries version of it too, but definitely read the book first before watching the miniseries.
Would you ever make a movie like from a novel, like adaptation
I would love to do that.
for that book? Would you want to do that?
Well, they did the miniseries,
Oh,
but so like I feel like it's like too soon. Maybe in like 20 years, I could be like,
20 years,
now's the
yeah.
time to make the movie version. But it is that like stories like that I feel like aren't ripe for adaptation, just because they're like so freaking dense. Like footnotes, and like side quests. Like you go to the back and you read like the side story, and like then you come back, and it's like really hard to fit that in. Like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, even with the extended cuts, like they still can't fit in Tom Bombadil or like the Scouring of the Shire. Like it's just like too big. So I feel like it depends on like the story. I would love to adapt. And I could do this seriously without having to add aliens. Like I could adapt to Jane Austen. I love her so much. Or like a children's book. I feel like I love children's literature. There's a book called The Westing Game by Ellen Franken that I actually reread recently because I found it in a little free library, and I was like, oh, this would be awesome. And then another by Eva Ibbotson called The Star of Kazan, which is a bit of an epic, but like I always think like if I ever wanted to, like I love adaptation as an idea. My honors thesis in college, I adapted The Bloody Chamber by Angela Carter, who I also love.
I'm writing over.
Another Angela Carter is another spooky.
Spooky.
She's like a spooky fantasy 70s. She was like writing like 70s era feminist spooky retellings of fairy tales. And where was I? Oh, I adapted a bunch of her shorts into a play.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then also like my thesis was about like how to adapt and like what like elements of adapting, like how adaptation not everything should be adapted. Like some things are good in their form. So I love I just like thinking about it, what that is. But like, yeah.
Would you write a book?
Probably
like
not.
A children's book?
Maybe a children's book. Sometimes I'm like, I want to do a children's book about my dog.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely.
But
I love dogs.
I don't know that I am I'll do a short story. I'll do a poem, but I don't think, again, like I can't write long. Like I can't fluff like
Filler.
paragraphs, like there's so many paragraphs in a book.
That's a lot of words.
It's like a lot of words, and it's a lot of like figuring out how to say the thing. When I was in college, I double majored in theater and philosophy. And that was the best thing about philosophy, because when you're writing a philosophy paper, you don't have to worry about how long it's going to be, because all you need to do is just say the exact same thing a second time in like a different way.
Really?
So you're just like literally like, this means this. And what I mean by this is this. And the meaning of this is this. And this is how I'm saying what I am saying.
Right.
Because in philosophy, you're just like, okay, yeah, like, I need like to explain.
Right.
Yeah.
But like in fiction, like, oh gosh, I admire so many fiction writers, but like, I don't know. I don't think it's
daunting. Yeah.
I don't think that's for me.
Yeah.
So is the end goal to write like features? Would it be more like TV shows?
I think I'm a features gal. I like the idea of TV shows, but again, like that's so like the sprawling nature of TV shows. Like I tried like just like as an exercise, like adapting a script I wrote once into like sort of like a Bible, and like this is how like the show would
like a
go.
pitch Bible.
And yeah, it's not the same for me.
Yeah. Put it all in just one big thing.
So
Yeah.
just like
Feature.
standalone features would be what you want, not like trilogies.
I mean, if someone was like, here's $1 million,
Shit,
like,
I could do a trilogy. I'll be able to do that.
I could do anything.
Yeah.
If they were like,
Yeah.
oh, we love this little
I'll make a
movie
saga.
of yours, like, let's make another one. Like, I'd be like, absolutely.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not
you know,
against. No one's
Yeah.
doing it.
Pirates of
Yeah.
the Caribbean 8. Like, I'm there. Like, if you want me to do it, I'll do it.
Aliens come.
Yeah, like alien.
That's not a
pirates
bad
and aliens.
idea.
Ooh, Pirates versus Aliens.
Yeah.
Honestly, but I don't know that I've not like intended to write like a series like that. But I'm not against it. I feel like if anything, I would do like a sister trilogy, or like what is like the phrase I'm thinking of, like when they're not necessarily, they're grouped together, but they're not necessarily like a real
Linked.
trilogy.
Right.
A
Like-
universe?
or like-
Is it like
Yeah,
that?
like
Some-
we've been watching a lot of Hal Hartley lately. I don't know if you know him. He has these 3 movies that were all in like the early 90s, late 90s, early 90s ish.
And it's like the
Didn't
same
bring my notes.
world, but not necessarily like
It's like not even the same
chronological.
world. It's like considered a trilogy.
I
Like they're all
see.
in Long Island.
Okay.
So it's like a Long Island trilogy.
Ah.
And he reuses a bunch of the actors, but they're playing different
What was his
people. Hal Hartley. The I think it goes The Unbelievable Truth, Trust, and Simple Men is like the order they were released. We watched it Trust first, and then Unbelievable Truth, and then Simple Men. Trust is my favorite one. I think Trust, after I watched it for the first time this year, and I think that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
We gotta
Just
check
haven't
that
watched
out.
it.
Is that what M. Night Shyamalan does? Is that what it's considered? Where it's like not necessarily like a trilogy.
What are you thinking of, like Glass?
And Split.
And Split.
Yeah. And
I feel like
don't know.
those are considered a trilogy, though.
Yeah, I think they. Yeah.
I think maybe
haven't watched
Split.
them.
I think maybe Split wasn't necessarily when
was like-
Split came out. It
yeah.
wasn't necessarily a trilogy, and then they did the third one, which is called Glass.
I think so.
'Cause
I
the
mean,
first
they just.
one is the Unbreak.
Yeah, he's like, well, let me bring
Unbreakable.
this third hero sort of type of guy and bring him with these 2 other
Yeah.
characters and kind of made it into a universe.
I just watched Split for the first time.
And what'd you think about that? Split decision.
we watched
I know
Old.
I know. Yeah.
The beach that makes you old.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Split had a
What
really
twist?
high concept that was interesting, and just poor execution.
Yeah,
But
it's a lot of that.
nothing against James McAvoy and
Yeah.
Anya Taylor-Joy. Like, I think they were both good in it, but
Yeah.
oh god, the therapist made me so mad.
Yeah. I haven't
was-
seen it in a while.
You're supposed to be like an expert on like people with split personalities, and one of your patients invites you to his house that's in the basement of a zoo,
Yeah.
and you go alone.
I wonder what this one is. Who's this? What's this personality?
Let me go down to the zoo
Yeah.
house. Like, he's literally living in that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, you supposedly have like a doctor's, like,
Yeah.
you're a doctor, and you're making this decision.
Yeah.
It's make me want to watch it.
Oh, you haven't seen Split?
Oh, spoilers.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
Scared.
It's not scary. It's just.
I heard it's scary. Isn't
I think
it
there's
a
like
horror?
there's like jump scares, but
Yeah.
it's not
It's
that scary. I
If
don't know how
can
I don't know
handle
how you
long
do
legs,
with
I
horror.
can handle
Yeah, if you
Split.
can handle long legs, you can
Okay.
handle Split.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine. I've not seen Long Legs, but I can't imagine the Split is like anywhere near
It's not even
Okay.
close.
as scary.
Okay.
Not even close. But yeah, I think this could
Yeah,
wrap it up
wait.
right
How can
Well,
people like
ended on
find
Split.
you? Ended on Split.
And it,
there. Yeah, no.
How can
Thank you,
people
M.
find
Night.
you? How can people watch this movie? It's on Vimeo, so we'll link it.
it's on Vimeo.
Mhm.
Yes, and I am on Instagram at apeybro, APEYBRO.
Okay, yeah.
My name is Anne Peyton Brothers.
Is
Nice.
Peyton your middle name, or is it like another last
It's
name?
my middle name, but it's like I'm from the South. So it's like both of mine. It's
You don't have an accent, a Southern accent. Did you like try to shed it off, or did you?
I think I only have like much of an accent when I'm there. I think I like have a really bad habit of just like sliding into it when I'm home, or when I'm like working in customer service. Then I'm like, hi y'all,
Because everyone's suddenly nicer to you.
Yes. I'm sorry, it's gonna be a 45-minute wait for your table, but you know,
Just nicer.
you can hang out
Southern
at
accent.
you can
Yeah.
hang out at the bar. Yeah, that's my manipulation tactic. But yeah, when I'm home, I feel like I have a stronger accent. Or when I'm talking to my dad on the phone, my dad has like a real accent.
Nice.
Where like multiple words have like lots of vowels. But yeah, but
Is there,
Anne
like,
Peyton.
different accents throughout Virginia, or is it similar?
There are definitely different accents.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I heard that about like Pennsylvania and Pittsburgh. Like it's in, or no, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, because the state of Pennsylvania has both of those cities, and they have like different accents. How they say
PA.
water and stuff like that.
Where
yeah.
you're from, is it similar to the accent in Silence of the Lambs?
Oh, Jodie Foster's.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because we
I
just
can't
watched
even hear
yesterday.
it right now. Is it a clippy one?
No. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if Jodie's from the South, but she did a pretty good job.
Yeah,
on
I think
yeah.
it's. I mean, where I'm from, so in where I'm from in Virginia, in Appalachia, it's like, it's a bit of a clippier accent, you know. But like, my grandfather's from, where is he from? And he was from, my dad's from Nashville, and my grandfather had like a real.
Like a drawl.
Like a drawl. Like he had a very like, he went to Tulane down in Nolans sort of voice.
Like molasses coming out of the mouth.
But where I'm from, it's a little bit more. It's a little bit more like Dolly.
Nice.
A little chippier.
Yeah, a little chippier.
Okay, so people will follow you on Instagram.
You can follow me on Instagram. That is
Watch-
all I have.
Okay. And watch your short on Vimeo.
On Vimeo.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Well,
Thank you
thanks
guys.
again.